Welcome to, it is Monday, May 12th, United States and Canada, and this is a show called What Chaos, presented by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code What Chaos. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. Prize Picks, run your game in Boston, Massachusetts. My name is David Bean. I sit beside Pete Blackburn, and across the room is Sean DaMan DaPaz. Hi, Pete.
Hello, David. You sound great. No allergies detected.
Thank you very no lies detected, brother, because I feel good. My face, it feels normal. It doesn't feel like anything on it is very, very heavy. It's not terrible. We got Penny over there just cooking, hanging back in the party. We'll probably see her in a minute. Sean, how was your weekend?
It was good.
We're still going to do great. We're restarting the show. If you're hearing this on audio, we had to restart it because of audio issues. But even 7 minutes late on the live show, we're still going to grab ass.
That's right.
Went to Porch Fest. Syracuse lacrosse had a massive second half comeback in the first round of the NCAA tournament against Harvard. So it was a good weekend.
You see any porches with a bathroom on it?
Yeah.
I did see a lot of porta potties outside of buildings that were being constructed.
The porch with the bathroom on it.
I'm not sure.
A bathroom on a porch?
Wasn't looking for them.
Oh, okay.
Saw a lot of porches with bands on them.
Yeah?
Yes.
How are they? I go very back and forth on Porch Fest.
I loved it. There's a rock band with some middle-aged guys, and then there was some guys around my age playing like orchestral instruments, like
Porch Fest is just one of those things where it's kind of like St. Patrick's Day in Boston, where you got to accept that it's happening. And if it's not something you want to be around, got to leave.
My other car is a porch.
Got to head somewhere else. Pete, why don't you tell the folks on the show today?
Today on the show, we are going to talk about it's bad times for Canada. If you watched the hockey this weekend, you saw the Edmonton Oilers lose in what could be described as the most excruciating fashion possible. And then on Sunday, you watched the Florida Panthers come back from what may have been described as the dead, at least on the mat. And the Florida Panthers kicked the shit out of the Maple Leafs on Sunday. And now it's hard not to feel like the Panthers are back and that's their series to win. So we're going to have JD Bunkis on the show because JD Bunkis has some questions to answer about his Toronto Maple Leafs and where some of their star players are, such as Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner, kind of going quiet in this series. And then we're going to talk about welcome back JFK assassination. I don't know what that's about. It might have something to do with Dallas.
I also misspelled assassination, but go on.
Is that something to do with the Dallas Stars?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what welcome back JFK assassination is.
Sean, you got nothing?
The JFK assassination would imply that Dallas, I would have thought that would imply that Dallas was getting fucked up, which obviously is not the case. So I'm not exactly sure what you're going for.
Something that happened in Dallas that everyone took years to figure out. What's going on? Everyone spends so much time saying, what happened here? What went down? Having theories.
We figured that one out, though, unlike the JFK assassination.
FBI did it. And finally, X Rex X on X. I
proud of that one.
I'm not proud of myself for how quickly I understood that. That is Nazem Kadri wrecking his ex, the Colorado Avalanche, for not keeping Mikko Rantanen on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter.
Which mainly I used Rex there because it might rhyme with X. However, Nazem Kadri didn't look cool there.
Yeah.
That had big Kobe Bryant. Remember Kobe's tweet where he was like, guys, all this talk about who's the GOAT, just enjoy the player. It doesn't matter if you think it's LeBron, Jordan, or me. Everyone was like,
I think the
no one
Kadri
thinks you're the
thing-
GOAT.
The Kadri thing would have hit a little bit harder had he not played for the Avs, because it has a little bit of like jilted lover to it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, yo, they got rid of you because you're not that guy.
I strongly disagree with this take. I feel like Kadri left, and then everyone responds was like, "Wow, they could really use Kadri right now."
Yeah, that's
they could
fair
use what
too.
Kadri was. I mean, Kadri was perfect for that team.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's today's show. Make sure you subscribe everywhere you can. We usually try to spend the meat of these shows talking about stuff that happened the night before, so it can have a little more of a shelf life. But the craziest thing that happened over this weekend happened in Game 4 of the Vegas Oilers series. And I'll begin with this. A lot of people, two of whom sit in this very room with me, were won over by the Oilers in Game 2. And I saw a lot of people who were like, you know what? I can't help but kind of like the Oilers. Can't help but want to see where this thing goes with them. Edmonton handed those people the ultimate you sure about that game, where it's like, do you want to like us? Look at the shit that we do. Look how disgustingly, pathetically hateable we can be.
Yeah, but not from my end, because like the reason that I like the Oilers as a product of entertainment is that they are never boring. That doesn't always mean that you are left with a good taste in your mouth from the Oilers side of things.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that the product is always worth your time in terms of tuning in for it. And that didn't change on Saturday night. On Sunday, I spent all day saying, did you see what the Oilers did at the end of that game? Yeah, they fucking broke down to the craziest degree imaginable and chunked that game. But I was still the next day saying, did you see what happened in the Oilers game? And that's the overall experience with the Edmonton Oilers.
Okay, so Stonk's still up on the Oilers. I apologize. I remain sick over that, and they can win the cup, and I will always be sick over the ending to that game. It was so many things that went horribly wrong. Let's just throw it up. Sean, if you have it, PD, of course, had the best video in the world breaking down this buzzer beater own goal by the Oilers to lose Game 3 and let Vegas back in the series. I put stills of some of the highlights of this video up there with the time left there. So the first still you see there, PD says, and I'll note before this because I didn't want to put 5 in here. Before this, Leon Draisaitl fucked up by in the neutral zone. If he just laid back when William Karlsson was coming out, then that would have probably slowed down the attack and time would have ran out. Instead, he flew at Karlsson, ran into, I forget what defender it was, and Karlsson was able to go around him. Next, you have Darnell Nurse there. Darnell Nurse and Brett Kulak are both there, and even a little splash of Connor McDavid. 3 guys, 1 Vegas Golden Knight. PD says Nurse literally just needs to touch him at all. Not in a way that's going to take a penalty, but literally turn to skate towards the puck with him. And if you're skating with him in concert, it slows him down a little bit. He's probably not going to get there. You also see Brett Kulak there. All Brett Kulak has to do is get to that puck first, which should be easy to do if Nurse is slowing down Karlsson. That doesn't happen. The next still is the one that really got me and made me feel so much worse about this, because this is the person that I blame most for this after watching PD's video, Connor McDavid. Puck is going into the corner. Connor McDavid is the 3rd guy. There are 2 Oilers already with William Karlsson. There's already job duplication. They're already chasing the puck into the corner. Connor McDavid just needs, this is per PD, to stay where he is. Stop skating, stay high-ish in the zone, and cut off any potential pass that could happen if Karlsson gets to the puck, which he's not going to because he's got Nurse and Kulak already with him. So the play's going to stay behind the net. But just in case, Connor McDavid, what are you doing? Don't be a 3rd guy who chases the puck. Instead, he chases the puck. Now, 3rd still, Connor McDavid again and Darnell Nurse, who Darnell Nurse, not his finest night.
No.
Hate when that happens. They both go down to block the shot from Riley Smith, which basically gives Riley Smith, whom I love. I'm a big Riley Smith guy. Love him as a Golden Knight too. But this basically forces Riley Smith's hand to now skate around them, which he does successfully. And lastly, Stu Skinner comes out, takes away the shot. Petey says that Skinner's job there is to be as big as he possibly can and take away any sort of angle from Riley Smith. He does that, let's say 800%.
Yeah.
We needed 100%, but he is as big and as taking away the shot as he can possibly be.
He's like, he's taking away the puck or attempting to take away the puck.
He took away my life. And what it allows, though, is the smallest chance possible that a pass could get through.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually don't even know if Riley Smith was shooting or passing, but he did get the puck under Skinner's paddle, wide of the net. But our dear friend, my favorite fucking hockey player, Leon Draisaitl, says, just in case this is a pass, I will not let it to, oh, fuck. And that's what
right
happened.
in the net. And
right in the net.
yeah, like the TLDR there is that it falls on like 8 different people. And there was only 5 Oilers on the ice.
8 different people. In real time, I was screaming, Leon, how could that have happened? Then I saw the replay and I'm like, fuck. Should I be angrier at Stu than I am? Should I be? I mean, I assumed watching that where like Brett Kulak was involved here. And yeah, I know he's had a great season, but like, how did the puck not stay behind the net? How did the puck ever get in front?
The breakdown of all breakdowns on that final play. I will give a tiny little bit of credit to William Karlsson. Great effort play to even initiate any of that through the neutral zone with 10 seconds left. And then just giving yourselves a chance on the off chance that every Oiler on the ice would have a massive breakdown. And that's what happened. And the Vegas Golden Knights win that game. It was crazy.
I must tell all of you to watch Petey's breakdown. Like, we just summarized it there in a few minutes, but what we just did on the whole thing, he gave that much attention to each one of those little plays and little things. And it really was a symphony of everything that could go wrong. And again, I tip my cap to Riley Smith, man. Like, what a game. He also embarrassed Podkolzin and somebody else on the 2-on-4 on which he scored. It brings us to all of this. Calvin Pickard missed the game. Calvin Pickard is out for game 4 as well. Calvin Pickard famously, late in regulation in game 2, was injured, didn't take a whistle. Vegas scores, goes into overtime. Pickard plays great in overtime, but he's hurt. He can't go on Saturday. He can't go tonight. So you have Stuart Skinner, the playoff, we'll say, I won't say hero because they didn't win the Stanley Cup, but like playoff star of last year who had a bad regular season. What are you fucking doing?
Well, he was the playoff something. Like, I don't know if I would
No,
say
he was a star in the playoffs.
I mean,
Stuart Skinner?
Yeah.
What are you talking
Every
about?
saying he
series
was
we talked about in the
the
first
star?
half of the
No,
series.
no. He was a playoff star.
I
He
mean,
was a
I
playoff
guess. Yeah.
roller coaster.
He was the second best goalie in the playoffs after he returned.
He also got sat down at a point.
Right.
right.
I think
And
roller
so,
coaster is
first
I
half-
like,
But he was no.
he's a star.
Kept
He
talking
was
about-
absolutely a star in last postseason.
I mean, yeah. I think I would agree. He's not like the most convincing star of all time,
but it's also very. I think that it's recency bias to hear that Stu Skinner was ever good and then push back on it. So I understand where Pete's coming from, but he was very good.
He was a bit of a journey.
I'm saying from when he came back last postseason, he wasn't a journey. He was very good.
We kept talking about at the beginning of the series that he was getting outplayed and then he would get stronger as the series went along.
You can get outplayed and still be good. He was good in the postseason after he came back.
We don't have to rehash it, but I'm just saying, like, he wasn't like a bona fide star.
I didn't say bona fide star. I said a playoff star.
Okay. Go ahead.
It's a way to lose an argument it's called the straw man fallacy. Anyway, Skinner, .833 save percentage in his first game back. We can agree. I thought he was very shaky and bad in this game. Now, were it not for the last play, he was getting out of that game, or he was going to overtime with an .870 save percentage, which is good enough. Is it like that? An .870 save percentage in an Oilers game is like a guaranteed win almost. The Oilers have won 4 games this postseason in which they've had sub .885 goaltending. They've won 2 games in which they've had .860 goaltending. So the point is they can win games with bad goaltending. What I feel bad about is that Calvin Pickard was getting better. Like Calvin Pickard, I thought was good in game. Oh, he was good in game 1. I thought he was getting very good in game 2. If he's available for this game, they probably win. They take a 2-0 lead in this game, which they then blow. And the first goal looked like Skinner had not played goalie in 5 months versus 2.5 weeks or whatever. And there goes the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think just removing any numbers from it, like you watch Calvin Pickard and you're like, okay, they have a stable goaltender. They have some stability. Like you can expect the saves that most of the time, you can expect the save that should be made to be saved. And I really do think that's all the Oilers need when they're playing at least halfway decent in front of the goaltender. Just make the saves that won't deflate your team. And unfortunately, a few times in the Stu Skinner start, you got a couple ones that like you just kind of deflate you on the couch. Namely, was it the first one?
It was the first one. They shot high.
Yeah.
And he contorted himself really. He looked so uncomfortable. And we've said a million times, no player in the league, it's more apparent when they don't have it. And you wish that if it were baseball, you'd get someone up in the pen in the first inning, and you'd say it's dramatic, but we're getting somebody up in the pen. Can't really do that in hockey. Definitely can't do it when your backup is not dressing.
You made a good comparison, which was that like he reminds you of Tim Thomas, but like without the faith that like Tim Thomas is going to make the save. Like everybody can acknowledge that when Tim Thomas was on the Bruins and at his peak, he would do some crazy shit, and you'd be like, no, what the fuck are you doing? And then he makes the save, and you're like, oh my God, holy shit. Stu is that guy, but then he doesn't make the save. And that, it's an adventure, man, and it takes a lot out of you.
So what do you think Skinner plays in game 4? What do you think he actually needs to do? Like, what is the mark that the Oilers need from their goaltending?
I don't
because
think there's
it's not,
a number.
Like we uncovered last week. It's definitely not 900. It's not even 890.
I don't know if there's a number to it. I just think that like it has to be less than a few deflating goals. Like that's it. That's it in my mind is you don't let up the goal that makes the rest of the team go, oh, brother, now what?
But
like you could see
Pickard
it on
does
some
that
of these
too,
guys'
though.
faces. You could see it on McDavid's face. I think it was after, I don't know after which goal.
I think
but
it was
like,
after the first one.
They cut to McDavid, and he has that look on his face. He's like, we have to deal with this shit again.
Yes, and I understand that because, again, Skinner was not good in this game. But they win games when their goalie isn't good. And I saw something on Oilers Nation. They did like a big mailbag on the Oilers play different in front of Pickard than they do in front of Skinner. And it's unequivocally yes.
I feel they play good in front of bad goaltending if that bad goaltending is Calvin Pickard. Like
right.
It's not a universal.
Because I think you can wrap your head around shot 5 holes and automatic goal. That's simple. It doesn't make you happy, but they're like, we can get our heads around that. So we can't have anybody shoot on this guy. And I don't understand where that is with Stu.
I feel like it's like when you have 2 dogs. You have a purebred and you have like a street dog. And when the street dog shits in the house, you're like, yeah, street dog's supposed to shit in the house. But our starting goalie is not supposed to shit in the house.
Yeah.
And so you get pissed off when the starting goalie shits in the house.
I honestly think that like the 5-hole element is like, it at least has the appearance of a shooter beating the goalie.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of these Stu goals has the appearance of the goalie beating the goalie.
Yes. Right. Where you say, why is his body like that? Why did he?
Why is he in the face-off dot?
Right. Why did? It's frustrating.
And I said this to you is like, people are, and you got upset over the weekend because you felt like too much blame was being assigned to Stu for that loss. Is that fair to say?
Yes. However,
That's
I'll
not
defend
being a Stu
people.
apologist.
Right. No. But I will defend. If people just said Pickard starts that game, they probably win. I agree with you. I think that he's riding momentum, and if he's healthy, I'm saying. However, I get mad, and I do this with every goalie when things are just reduced to the goaltender. In Oilers fans' defense, Skinner this season has actually been bad is mean, but like Skinner has not been a good goalie this year. So if you hate that Stu is your starter, that's fine. It's the oversimplification that frustrates me.
I get that. I think that you spend too much energy trying to defend, or at least like
I
correct
agree.
the
It's
narrative.
pointless.
Yeah,
There's no winning.
and he was bad, and they lost a game in which like you can argue that he was the difference, and that's not, again, we've gone over, like there was a litany of breakdowns on that final play. It's stupid to assign it all to Stu, but a good portion of that does belong on his plate, and I do think that the aesthetic of him being so far out of the net is damning. And so I just think that my big takeaway was that if the Oilers aren't going to put Stu in a position to succeed, Stu has to do a better job at putting himself in a position to succeed, and none of that is happening so far.
Since I noted you using a fallacy, I'll even the playing field and do the same thing. So no one's any better than the other. If Stuart Skinner allowed the first goal to Corey Perry that Aiden Hill allowed, what would the reaction be?
I don't even remember what that looked like.
The sky would be falling. And this is what happens when there's questions about a goaltender, though. This would happen in Boston, oddly enough, with Tuukka Rask, where if there was a question about the goaltending going in, even if it was a dumb question that the media made up, every goal that's allowed, the story becomes, is that a good goal? Should he have allowed that goal?
Yeah.
And Devin Dubnyk has said this with the Oilers Nation guys. He was like, you have to remember that goal scorers score goals.
Right.
Like, usually the goal is scored because the person with the puck did something good. And in the case of the first goal that Aiden Hill allowed, in which like Perry kind of took him for a ride and waited him out, if you don't like Aiden Hill, you kill him for that. However, that was a smart play by Corey Perry.
Same thing happens with the Jets towards the end of that first round series, and then at the beginning of this series, when Connor Hellebuck is struggling. After every goal that's scored, there's could Connor Hellebuck been in a better position to make this save? Does this fall on Connor Hellebuck? And we've seen that kind of die off a little bit because Hellebuck's sort of locked it in a tiny bit. But yeah, you're right. Like when a goalie is struggling, there's so much more emphasis put on, well, is this the goalie's fault?
And that's what I worry about with him, though. I worry, like, he looks like he has no confidence. And maybe that could just be that he hadn't played in a while and he was out of sorts and he gave up a kind of shaky one. And yes, requisite, he made saves in the third period that kept him in the game. But I didn't feel good about it. I felt the same way about him that I felt about Pickard through the first two periods of game one, where like 5 minutes or like 10 minutes into the game, I tweeted, the Oilers need to legitimately not allow the Golden Knights to have a shot on goal. And the Oilers then spent the next like 30 minutes not allowing a shot on goal. That's how I felt about Stu in that game, where like I root for him. He's my goalie. I'm always going to defend him. I got the shirt on right now, but I'm fucking horrified. And I think the guys playing in front of him are horrified, which is not a good recipe. I am just waiting for what they did in front of Pickard, which is like, guys, we need to fucking bail this guy out by not making him part of the game at all. I need them to do that with Stu at some point. And at some point, maybe Stu can be what he was, let's say 2/3 of what he was down the stretch in the postseason last year, which he was a .914 save percentage after he came back from his benching in the second round against the Canucks. If he can be, seriously, if he can be the .896 he was in the regular season, they're fine.
Yeah, I mean,
Don't know if it's coming.
Overall, how nervous are you heading into Game 4?
I go back and forth. It really fucks me up. Not just that shit ended the way that it did in Game 3, but that they had a 2-0 lead in that game, blew it.
It's like the anti-Oilers.
Welcome to how the rest of the world feels.
Yeah, right.
But that rattled me because there were no questions coming out of that if they didn't lose that. But instead, it's, fuck, can they win with Stu? My honest answer is, I don't know.
Exactly. That should be your exact answer.
And I'm a little worried about Leon, which he's only third in the NHL in points in the postseason. He's only been the best offensive player in this series, but not all not rights are equal.
Yeah, right.
And he kind of looks not right to me right now, and that fucking scares me.
I mean,
and if they're up 3-0 as we're asking that question, I'm like, close it out at home, get the boys some rest, Ekholm back next round, championship.
And we both arrived at that
independently.
That sort of conclusion independently, where a couple times in Game 3, I was like, that doesn't look good for Leon. There was a couple opportunities where if he's right, he could have had a couple goals in that game. The first period, he rang the crossbar on a shot that he usually buries. And then in the third period, where they had an opportunity to take the lead late in the game, he was in his office. He teed one up and hit the side of the net. And I was like, he's got to be hurt. Got to be hurt.
I feel like that's like the first or second time he's even gotten the puck there this entire series. I think that Bruce Cassidy's entire strategy is don't let him get the puck there. PK, he never gets the puck there. Or Golden Knights PK, Oilers power play, he's never gotten the puck there. So when he finally gets that opportunity and he misses wide, I'm like, God. But I mean, I ran the numbers. I looked at faceoffs and everything. He's taking more faceoffs than he was in the regular season. He's doing better on faceoffs than he was in the regular season. If he were still hurt and he missed 4 games late, came back for 3 games, then missed the final 7 games of the regular season. If he were still hurt, faceoffs would be a good indication. If he's not taking faceoffs, you think? Because I was like, oh, he's playing wing with McDavid. Maybe that's why he's playing with McDavid, because he is hurt and he can't kind of do all of his responsibilities. No, he is doing everything, but he just doesn't look the same. Do have to note, he's scored back-to-back game-winning goals.
Mm-hmm.
And
that is true.
Yesterday, with that Hellebuck putting it in his own net, I noted that Nikita Kucherov is the only player to not put the puck in his own net this postseason. Someone immediately responded. Only Hart candidate to not put the puck in any net this postseason, because he famously didn't score. And then somebody else responded saying, you have to be in your own zone to put the puck in your own net, not Nikita Kucherov's bag. So we will see on all that shit.
I did want to, before we exit this conversation, did you want to discuss your Stu discovery from the weekend?
Yes. Fine. Hold on. Let me just tell.
Got a JD Bunkis.
Yep.
I wanted to throw out real quick, not that anyone really cares, but I care. U.S. at Men's Worlds just got fucked up by Switzerland. They lost 3-0. So great for Tage and Clayton Keller.
Very nice. Is JD Bunkis coming down with something now that the Leafs are not?
No.
Doing so hot
he
in the
needed
series?
the link, but I sent it to him, so he will be in shortly. Yes. Charlotte Wilder, I am not. Check out the Sports Gossip Show. It's a podcast with Charlotte Wilder and Madeline Hill. I've only read the name, so I apologize.
I would imagine it's Madeline. Is Madeline a name?
I think Madeline's a name. Sean?
I've never heard it before, but I'm sure there's plenty of
I'm
names
going
I've
to
never
guess
heard before.
Madeline, but
It's probably Madeline. I don't know. This person could.
I don't want to make assumptions.
Yeah. this
I
person
would.
could be doing
I
their own
mean,
thing.
I would, if I read the name Madeline, I would always assume it's Madeline.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
That's true.
Okay. Well, they have a show in which they gossip. They do sports gossip, and they were at the Miss Maine competition this weekend, checking on Jordan Hudson, shout out Pablo Torre, unbelievable reporting on his show. But that is to say, I am not my friend Charlotte Wilder. I trust her to do all the investigating with any sort of fun stuff like this. However, I did see somebody tweet over the weekend that Connor McDavid does not follow Stu Skinner on Instagram. And I rolled my eyes and I was like, to mock people who do this, I am just going to double check. And I double checked and he doesn't. And I was like, maybe Oilers players just aren't super big on Instagram. Everybody follows Stu. Everybody.
Not great.
Everybody except for Connor.
And it's not a...
They're following like
Connor
Stu and his wife. They're following like the whole Skinner family. Connor's doing none of that.
Connor getting ready to join McKinnon and Crosby and
Pittsburgh.
And Marchand all in Pittsburgh. That's
I'll
that's
say-
gonna rock, dude.
Does Connor follow like every other play? Does he follow like Brett Kulak on Instagram?
We can check that. I would be pissed if I found out that Connor McDavid's version of having a personality in 2025
is not following
is
Stu.
doing like the petty I do and don't follow this person on Instagram.
It's not good.
I don't think that he would do that. It doesn't help the conversation.
He
about Skinner.
does not follow Kulak, assuming that I could find his account by typing in Kulak. Doesn't follow Vander Kane either.
Ooh. So like maybe he's just only following the teammates
He
that
does
he likes.
have a lower following count than let me see. Does he follow Ty Emberson?
He follows Chloe Grace Moretz.
He does follow Calvin Pickard. Like on the other side of that.
The man has spoken.
That's insane.
The man has
Fuck.
spoken.
Yeah.
I don't want to get
Does
into
does not follow Olivier Rodrigue either, so he's chosen his goalie.
There you go.
Yeah, no, I think that it's safe to say that Calvin is McDavid's guy, but
Calvin Pickard, the future goalie of the Pittsburgh Penguins.
so good reporting. We are now rivals with Charlotte Wilder. We are very good at all of that. And if you want to have the best time possible, told you folks, I'm going north of the border this week. Maybe I dip into Canada or to Toronto and I catch a Leafs game because Vivid Seats, they could help me. Best place to get your tickets for any live event. They have the best selection of games and seats, and every purchase is backed by their 100% buyer guarantee. Plus, Vivid Seats is the only ticket marketplace that rewards you for every purchase. So download the Vivid Seats app and start earning rewards towards free tickets. New Vivid Seats users who use promo code CHAOS30 will receive $30 off their first purchase of $300 or more. Once again, click the link in the show notes. Go to vividseats.com or download the Vivid Seats app. Use promo code CHAOS30. For $30 off your first purchase of $300 or more. When it comes to playoff hockey, being there is all that matters, so experience it live with Vivid Seats. WTG Paul in the chat says McDavid does not follow them.
Ooh, hates you. Hate to see it.
Let me see.
Better shack up with Stuart Skinner, my guy.
Does Connor McDavid follow Lauren McDavid? No.
That'd be incredible. If anybody listened to the shows last week, you know I had a real hell of a time with the HOF bets ad reads. You also knew that I had a hell of a time trying to win any of my bets.
I feel like we should point out that that was entirely my fault.
It was not entirely your fault.
It was like 98% my fault.
It was
I
like the
set you up
Oilers'
for
final
failure big
sequence. There was plenty of blame to go around, but it was not all my fault either. But I will say I am off the schneid. I have won a couple of bets over the weekend, and part of it's vibes. I did bet on the Golden Knights to score more than 3.5 goals against Stu Skinner because I'm well aware of who Stu Skinner is. Some of it I also do have to give credit to HOF bets because HOF bets does make it easier to hit on your selections. You can go ahead and link your HOF bets account with FanDuel, Sport, DraftKings, Prize Picks, any of your favorite sports betting apps. You link it to HOF bets, and you're going to get a leg up on Vegas by using historical data, matchup grades, leg correlation tools, player performance insights. You're going to have all the tools at your disposal to hit on your bets. And with a 4.9 rating in the App Store, over 6,000 five-star reviews.
Hall of Fame bets is a great way to make money on our sponsor for today, Prize Picks.
Okay. All right. Well, that I was nailing that one too.
You were doing a
Damn.
great job. I didn't want to throw you off.
Oh
too
yeah,
bad.
I was waiting for. I thought that.
I thought it was 2, which is why I let it go on so long.
Sorry,
but,
I checked before the show and
that's
it said HOF bets.
Yeah, that's not your fault.
All right then. Well then, Prize Picks. Prize Picks. It's a great place to go ahead and try to win some money on sports. If you're on HOF bets, you can go ahead and be directed to Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the most fun way to go ahead and win money on sports. You can mix and match player projections from different sports. You combine baseball, hockey, basketball, esports,
Darts.
much more. Darts,
Mhm.
esports, all that good stuff. You basically just select player props and more or less for your shot to win up to 1,000x your cash. DJ calls it the glass of wine with sports. I also call it that because it's delicious and it just is a little enhancement on your experience. So, we love Prize Picks. If you are not yet on Prize Picks, download the app today and use code WhatChaos to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today. Use code WhatChaos to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
Okay. Some updates on Connor McDavid's follows. I am just scrolling through his follows, and so far I have found that he follows but 2 goaltenders. Can
Calvin
guess
Pickard,
who they
we know
are?
one.
John
Calvin
Gibson.
Pickard is one of them. He
John
doesn't,
Gibson.
not to my knowledge.
Someone just put in the chat. They were like, he followed John Gibson on Friday.
I'm going to guess like Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Oh, Jordan Binnington.
He follows
Oh,
Jordan Binnington.
Okay, that makes sense.
Wow, okay.
Jordan Binnington. Those are the only 2 that I am seeing so far. I think.
Who else was on that? He doesn't follow like Montembeau or any of the other backups from Four Nations. Who was the other backup?
He only has time for his starter. That's why he's Calvin Pickard and Jordan Binnington.
Who was the other?
only 2 starters he recognizes?
Who was the third goalie on Team Canada?
It was Sam Montembeau.
And I was
Sam Montembeau, Calvin Pickard, and
No.
no,
that'd be awesome.
Jordan Binnington and wasn't it?
Is it Aiden Hill?
I think it was Aiden Hill. It was gonna be Logan Thompson.
Yeah, but then he got screwed over.
Logan Thompson was mean to somebody or something. Okay. You know what? I'm seeing a goalie who doesn't look like they play in the league. Other interesting follows.
I don't want to do this. Can we move on?
Follows Sam Bennett
Okay, great.
and Mitch
Canada.
Marner.
Team Canada.
Yeah.
I feel it seems like he follows all the important
UFAs.
Team Canada players.
UFAs.
Can confirm it was Hill. By the way.
Oh, do you think that if Stu is picked for Team Canada,
He'd follow
he
him?
would follow him?
Maybe.
Probably.
Or do we think that maybe that's why Stu wasn't picked because he weighed in there? He follows Derek Carr. I would unfollow him. No more use for that guy. Developments in this Maple Leaf series because they have lost the last 2 games. Brad Marchand scores the game winner in overtime in Game 3. Who could possibly see that coming? And to Game 4, you have shenanigans with Max Domi going after Sasha Barkov, who people just try to kill Sasha Barkov in the playoffs.
I mean, I
He
would
has to
too if
be-
I was playing against Sasha Barkov.
He's the number 1. It's just okay to clearly try to get that guy out of the series guy in the league.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's okay, but you understand why other teams
No, it
would want
is.
to do that.
Does it get punished?
I mean, I sometimes, yeah. I mean, it did for Ekblad. Or sorry. Who tried to
Hagel?
kill him in the first round?
Hagel.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But he
That's
got-
true.
He got 1 game.
Yeah.
And now
Draisaitl got nothing.
Domi's getting fined.
Domi got fined. Like
Domi should have gotten suspended. And that's not just like I hate the Leafs.
I don't know if you could see it. Bunkus is in the background throwing his hands up.
I do want to ask him about it. He should have gotten suspended. Like, at least 1 game. If you do that shit at the end of a game, there is no actual punishment for it. Like, I know he got fined $5,000, but that was cheap as fuck. At the end of the game, there's really no impact of, no real punishment for that. He should have gotten a game.
You know what
Especially if
sucks?
the league is trying to make a point of getting rid of like the message sending,
Right.
which they seem to be.
You know what sucks? Game 5, Wednesday, 2 days off. Everyone's gonna cool off, think better of it. not do anything too crazy.
I don't know about
I
everybody.
don't know if the Panthers are the kind of team that like lets things go away. After
You see
a
Matthew
couple
Tkachuk yelling at Marner,
I'm
William Nylander?
I'm going to get you.
That reminded me, Marchand did that to Marner one time.
Yeah.
Where Marner like accidentally might have done a little thing, and Marchand the rest of the game was like, nope, you're done.
Yeah.
Nope, nothing you can say.
Yeah.
I'm not listening. I'm going to get you. And Marner was so scared.
Yeah.
I would be too. And I believed, you know how that game ended? I think Brett Marchand scored in overtime. Did the classic, like, I'm going to make you afraid of me. And then while you're fucking horrified of what I'm going to do, I'm going to score, you idiot. Obviously, that is the goal, to score goals. Get your head in the game. Let's bring in JD Bunkis. He's our friend. He's our guy. JD, love chatting with you. Pete's got the first question.
You scared, bitch?
No, absolutely not. Are you kidding? Of course I'm fucking scared, Peter. This is horrible. They had an opportunity, a golden opportunity to silence every single one of the doubters, go on the road and just get a split, win one game. And like, I'll be honest, the game 3 just reeks of a game that you think about forever and ever and ever, right?
Yeah.
Like you're up 2 goals. You get multiple pucks that go in your own net, deflected off your own guys. You got chances like breakaways for Nylander, breakaway for Nyes, Wool lets in a softie. It's just, when you watch this many sports, you just start to recognize some of the patterns, right? Where you go, oh man, this is going to be a baddie. And yeah, that felt like an all-time what if game to me. And game 4 was just dog shit. Like there's no other way to describe it.
Yeah, so like I'm gonna be my best to be an objective kind of.
No, you can be the absolute piece of shit
no.
that you are. It's
Listen,
fine.
if I went and spent so much time last round saying you got to win 4 games, I'm obviously not going to take the victory last year. But really, it was game 4 more than 3 where you go, oh fuck, like maybe it's the compounding of it where like they had an opportunity to go up game 3 and you let Marchand score the overtime winner, but really. Game 4, you look at that and what the Panthers looked like in that game, and you're like, okay, they are fully back. That's what a lot of the doubters and haters expected this series to look like, and that's exactly what you got in Game 4. So, like, that's why I ask, are you scared? Because the Panthers seem to be at their height after Game 4.
So what I would say is this, though, is that 3 of the games, Toronto has very much looked like they are on their level, right? So it's only the one where the Panthers have completely dominated. And that's probably a lot of the good things Florida does, right? Maybe they didn't take the starts as seriously against the Leafs, right? Maybe Barkov is starting to get a little bit more healthy after the hit. Maybe the Leafs D is wearing down a touch after the relentless Florida forecheck that is just hitting them over and over and over again. Like Tanev leads the playoffs in, what is it? Guy who gets hit, guy who has been hit, received the most hits. So you got to think that, what is he, age 35, 34, somewhere in that range, that it starts to wear down on you. So there's definitely things that are markers in terms of, hey, Florida might be starting to just sort of roll with this series and be their true selves. I'm going to maintain the thing that I've always said, which is I really think that this Leafs team is different top to bottom, except for, actually, sorry. What right below the top to the bottom is different, right? If you look at it, the goaltending is better. The blue line is better. The forward depth, they're getting contributions from guys like Max Pacioretty and Max Domi that they haven't gotten in years past. Their blue line's chipping in. Their coach is more stable and more stoic. And Nylander is flying around with 6 goals and the second most points in the postseason. Tavares isn't washed up. It's like the thing that sucks about today, if you're saying, are you scared? It's that Marner and Matthews are still doing the Marner and Matthews playoff thing. Like I did this on my show today, but do you want to guess how many players that have already been eliminated have more goals than each of those guys?
8?
17.
Wow.
I mean, 17.
At least for Matthews, you can point to the injury because he hasn't been scoring at his usual clip all season long. And that was the biggest reason why I was concerned for the Leafs for like a sustainable playoff run, beyond even just the sweater stuff, but beyond the stitching. It's this guy hasn't been scoring to the degree that you expect him to all year long. What, like Marner, to me, you can't make that guy the highest paid player in the league after what you're seeing, unless he reverses that narrative from this point on. when things get shitty in the playoffs, when things get nasty, complete no-show. He has no interest in playing nasty hockey. And to me, why would you pay for that?
Would you like to guess how many shots Mitch Marner has combined in the last 2 games?
Please tell me. 0?
The correct answer is it's not a number. It's 0. He has no shots in 2 games on the road against the Florida Panthers.
Okay, in fairness, I'm going to voice what we just voiced briefly with Leon Draisaitl, where not all not rights are created equal. Some players, if they're not right and they're not performing, are still playing better than like most of the league. Mitch Marner has 2 assists in this span.
I guess he's got 2 secondary assists. Like, I just, here's the thing, man. It's impossible. What Pete just said is impossible to separate from this conversation. Like, this guy at the trade deadline was asked to waive his no move for Mikko Rantanen. Okay? Like, you guys watch hockey. You know what Mikko is doing. I think that you endorsed him for Pope. So you're pretty aware of how good this guy has been. He's got what? 9 goals, 7 even strength. Just absolute playoff beast. Marner didn't waive the no move, wanted to stay in Toronto. Like, this is the heat that you get when you stay in Toronto, but also didn't want to sign a contract extension before the postseason. So, like, as much as this is very much on Matthews and Pete, like, I agree with you, there's something going on with him, but whatever it is not preventing him from winning faceoffs, right? He's still doing that at a 60% clip. He's still playing 22, 23 minutes a night. He's playing good defense. So is Marner. Like, DJ, your point is well made that they do other things, but ultimately, when you are in that echelon of athlete in this league, when you are at the very top of the top when it comes to salary, it's really tough to have conversations about like what you're doing defensively or the assists that you're getting on some of these plays when, again, everything is breaking in your favor with the rest of your team. And considering, like, again, too, they got a line mate who's a unicorn who has 5 goals and been arguably the driver on that line in Matthew Nyes. So, yeah, this is about as much pressure as these guys have ever faced. And I always think that that's like, oh, well, last year was the most pressure, but this one, it's massive. Like, it really is getting loud in the city.
Even Nyes too. Like, Nyes has had his opportunities, but he's kind of looked snake bitten at points where, like, he's hitting posts, he's missing the net on, like, he's had plenty of opportunities in this series, which is more than you can say for some of those other guys. But he's not scoring in some spots
goes to the net.
Right.
But at least he's getting those chances in high danger areas, right? Like, that's the thing when we're talking about the Marner. For sure, he's a setup man, right? He's a playmaker, but he's also a 100-point guy. He didn't get to that with, McDavid 100 assists. He got to that with a shit ton of goals too, and no shots in 2 games. And Matthews, like, I was debating this with Borny yesterday on Leafs Talk, how it is a little overrated, the idea that you're missing the net a ton, but Matthews is missing the net a ton. And he hasn't adjusted his game to be like a guy that goes in the dirty areas and finds other ways to score. And so if you're going to play those 2 guys a combined 22, 23 minutes a night, you're asking for what from your secondary goal scorers, right? Like Max Domi to score in his 11 minutes, Max Pacioretty to score in his 12 minutes, for William Nylander to catch the rest of the way. Like, it is on these guys to produce offensively. And I really don't believe that they can win if they don't start to do it. Like,
How do
you can't.
How do you think the end of game 4 impacts the series going forward? And do you think the long layoff lets cooler heads prevail?
So I actually thought it was going to be a suspension too. Like, just completely unbiased hat. To me,
so why'd you throw your arms up when I said it should have been a suspension?
No, here's why. Here's why I threw my arms up was I think the only reason that you can make the case that Max shouldn't have gotten a suspension is that the Department of Player Safety is so absolutely terrible and cannot do their job with any measure of consistency that when you look at some of the other plays around hockey, that you're like, well, if that's not a suspension, how is this a suspension? That's just the only way I look at it. Like, you saw Roy, like, put his lumber through the teeth of an opponent. And it's like, what, the puck's in the air? Give me a break. He saw a face and he chopped somebody in the face with his hockey stick and he didn't get a suspension. You saw the play with Edmonton where it's a can opener right near the boards. And yes, it's a bang, bang play, but my God, is that dangerous? Like, that's how you paralyze a guy. And it's a nothing. Like, it's a total nothing. And so, and God, the headshots that Florida's laid out in the series, including another chicken wing, I think it was from Kulikov in this one, to Mitch Marner's head. And I'm like, all right, well, if nothing is a suspension outside of the two things that have happened in the Florida and Tampa series, then I'm okay with that not being a suspension, even though, again, like, you have time. It's the end of the clock. You make a couple of strides where you do see the numbers and you hit a guy in a dangerous area. Yeah, I definitely thought it could be a suspension, but like, how many of you guys seen that you thought could have been suspension so far that haven't been in the playoffs? At least 4 or 5, right?
The cross check to the teeth, we were like, that is such a stupid penalty that there's no way it was done on purpose.
Yeah,
the Domi thing, I was like, that was absolutely predatory and done on purpose, and that should be suspended.
I retroactively needed Watt to have been suspended for game 3.
Right.
Oh yeah, because the goal.
After game 2, I was like, well, he didn't mean to do that. And then after he scored, I was like, what the fuck? How's that guy playing?
Can I give you the why I think he meant to do it take?
Yes.
I think that the puck, okay, again, it's a fast game, but I think the puck goes in the air and he is like ultimately trying to like look for where it is and then he wants to play it. But then all of a sudden he sees his opponent's big, dumb, stupid face and he's already got his stick in that position. And it's just a gut react where he's like, yeah, fuck you. Bang. Like he took the shot knowing that the puck was there, being like, I got the chance to do this. To me, that's not premeditated in the same way that I actually think the Domi one is. It's way more reactionary. And that's always what they're looking for, right? It's like court where they go, how long did you think about this before you committed the crime? That's always a piece of it. And yet I definitely think that the Roy one, God, it's hard for me as a Canadian not to call him Roy. Like it's just Roy and it's hard.
Oh, is it Roy?
Yeah, I thought it was Roy.
I've always called him Wah, but that's just because the reason you said hockey. Yeah, CROY. You say Wah.
I see American commentators whenever I see these clips with Roy, and then I'm like, is it Wah? It's Roy. Anyway, whatever. I thought that was on purpose. I thought that was a nasty play and that he should have been suspended at least a game for that. This is the stupidest thing about the Department of Player Safety. To me, it's like, hey, did a guy make vicious contact to someone's head? Yes. Cool. Easy. In the box. Did he not? Okay. No. I just don't know why it's all that difficult of a job. I know it's fast. I know that there's a lot of factors that go into it. You don't want to remove physicality from hockey completely, but some of these ones are just so clear and obvious to me. It's like Sam Bennett a couple of years ago.
Good news
like he
for all of us.
cross-checks Bunting. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. No, Bennett on Bunting.
No, but it's like he cross-checks him in the back of the head. And I'm like, why isn't that just a game? Like, why isn't it a game when you put your stick into somebody's head? I don't get it.
He was trying, the puck was up there. He was trying to punch at it, and he accidentally did that. That's all the rage these days. Good news for all of us. Per Hockey Reference, which is a pretty reliable pronunciation guide, Nicholas Waugh.
Hell yeah.
Okay,
we may proceed.
Okay, good.
It's
okay,
also from the NHL's official media guide, so you can trust it.
Oh, okay. So we may proceed. Yeah. How many? I have 2 questions for you. One, are you aware that if the Maple Leafs win the cup, Pete has to kiss you? Do you know this?
I'd welcome it. I would be thrilled. I would be so excited.
We will figure out where the kiss will take place. The other question is,
where does he kiss me?
Not on your body.
I thought we decided that too.
See,
I thought it was the Rainbow Bridge right at the border.
Oh no, it's going to be like mouth on mouth. We're all adults here. It's
but
why
do I have to?
Was the Rainbow Bridge?
JD seemed disappointed that we already decided on mouth.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, that feels like I didn't get consent. Like, where was the consent in all of this? You're just assume Pete gets to kiss me on the mouth? Like, yeah, listen. Yes, all right.
You could be so lucky, pal.
I think that just like a nice, sweet kiss on the cheek, though, would be very good for me. Like, photo op too. I don't have to do the side angle with my huge schnoz. Like, I get to actually be dead on. That's kind of nice for me.
Oh, we would definitely get a professional photographer.
Yeah.
No lean either. Like, JD, you got to be standing straight up, and Pete's got to do
we have to do
like
the
classic
line.
cartoon where you're like bent at the hip.
Oh, I
like leaning over to get.
People are going to do the line test, the green line.
No, yeah,
test.
I was going to say, I'm definitely not failing the line test. Like, I get to be the winner of the line test. There's no question about that. I'm putting that in my contract. Like, how did this come about? Who was the idea behind this has to be a kiss to me?
Probably me. I was probably just like, you got to kiss Bunkis. Want to see that?
Yeah, where it was decided for me. Like I didn't
Yeah.
make the decision, so
Yeah, you did.
happy to
Wasn't
do it
your
if they win
idea?
the cup. Not
Right.
going to happen
Yeah.
though because the Florida Panthers are back.
Yeah,
So
I
my
think game
my
5 though,
follow-up
man.
question is like 1 to 10, 10 being the most confident. How confident are you that the Toronto Maple Leafs win another game this series?
1 to 10?
Yeah.
5.
Whoa, that's low.
That is pretty
Yeah.
low.
Well, here's the thing. I think that's actually high for a Leaf fan. I got to
Fair.
defend myself here. For what I've been given in the last decade, 5 is incredibly high, considering that these guys are 2-13 in elimination games. They're coming off of 2 games where Marner has not gotten a shot. Austin Matthews has 2 goals. Again, here's another one for you. Those 2 guys have combined for as many goals as Connor Brown. Okay? So it's a problem here. It is a problem here, those 2 guys with the scoring. That's
Connor
fine
Brown's
to you.
good in the playoffs, though, so you're confusing people. Connor Brown.
Yeah.
No one scores like Connor Brown. Give us a bad player.
I'm just saying that's a cast off from this team. Like the first iteration of cap casualties for this hockey team, Connor Brown was at the very forefront of it. They've had many. He was the first soldier to go. I think he found out at a wedding, like maybe even Marner's wedding. He just whispered in his ear like the Godfather, like, "You gotta go. It's you. I need money."
I know it's you.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Just big, another kiss. A lot of kiss talk today. So, and then goodbye, Connor Brown. But I think all things considered, with what the Leafs have done and what the best 2 players on the team have done in the last couple of games, 5 is pretty high. I keep saying the same thing. The team is better. The blue line is so good compared to everything they've had in years past. Like, if I would have been doing the show, like I remember I did it with you guys in the Bruins series. It's like we were having debates about Timothy Liljegren, whether he should play, like a shitty Sharks player playing an integral role on the Toronto Maple Leafs come playoff time. It was Luke Shen as a savior, as their defensive anchor. It was like Ilya Lyubushkin and guys like this. Now they're rock solid 1 through 6. Tavares isn't washed. Nylander is playing amazing. I don't think that the Panthers are fully healthy either. Like, you guys watch Tkachuk. Is this normal Tkachuk? So if you're doing that as a bit of a wash with the Matthews injury thing, I don't know. I actually think that they got a good shot to win game 5, but man, if they lose that one, that's why it's a 5. I feel like they're dead meat if they go to Florida for a game 6 and they've lost 3 straight. Like, it just feels like reverse sweep. Easy.
Where does goaltending rank on your list of concerns? And I don't mean that in terms of like the Leafs are getting bad goaltending, but you got an unbelievable Joe Woll performance in game 4 and you still lose that game. And on the other side, Bobrovsky's looking better as the series goes along.
So I'm very confident in Woll, especially after we saw that game. He's a rhythm goaltender. The one thing about him this season was I don't think that he really did well as the 1B guy, where Stolarz would get hot and he'd have to come in for these spot starts, once in a week. That's sort of where you saw the worst version of Woll. When you saw him at his very best, it's when Stolarz was hurt, when he had some pebble in his knee and he had to get surgery, and Woll was able to take over the net and run with it. And DJ, you'll remember this game, Hockey Night in Canada, when Woll absolutely robbed the Edmonton Oilers of a victory. Like, last second save, everything to it. I don't know how many he had in that game, but it genuinely felt like a million. It was Edmonton swarming all over the Maple Leafs for the entirety of the game, and Woll stood on his head. He has the ability. I think he's the higher ceiling of the 2 goaltenders when he's on his game. Stolarz was playing better, but to me, the big positive from that game is that I think Woll finally found his game. As to the Bobrovsky thing, like, yeah, congrats. He had a game where he didn't allow 4 goals in the series, but also I don't really give a shit because the Leafs had 9 shots through the first 2 periods. So it's like, let's see it if the Leafs can actually have a start like the one that they've had in the last few games, because you got to start early against this goalie. His save percentage goes up as the game goes on. And that seems like a pretty crucial key to me. It's like, Toronto, get out, get some offense, get to dirty areas, put the puck on net, and see if Bob can actually continue to make saves. Because he has not looked like the same guy to me. And yeah, that's very cursy stuff to put out in the universe. But no, he's allowing 4 a game outside of that one, outside of the shutout where the Leafs didn't do much to him.
I'll tell you what, there was a play late in that game where there was a relatively high shot on Bob, and he was just like, ugh, and kind of deflected it into the stands. And I was like,
that was an eyes breakaway.
No.
It wasn't.
Okay. It was like from the outside, and I was like, I would kill to watch a goalie do that. Just be like, oh, that was fucking weird, and then continue on with their life. So
I actually feel
Bob
bad
was
for
my
you when I
example
see
of like
Edmonton goals.
the like kind of bad goalie that I just want.
I thought of you when Skinner was in net and that game winner went in, and I thought it was in immediately. I was like, how is that not in? The ref was so definitive about it, and I'm like, no, that was in. What are we talking about here? It's just a matter of the clock. And then as soon as I saw that screenshot of where is Skinner in this photo, I was like, oh no, DJ. This is going to result in like a lot of DJ tweets about like how it's not his fault and how everyone's going to blame Stu. And I was dead right. Like I saw them immediately after. It was great.
Yeah, I just
felt
need to
bad for you,
not fucking do that, because
Mhm.
if the goalie has a bad game, I should know that the people who hate the goalie are going to be out in full force.
Right.
Yeah.
They're going to, if the goalie has a fine game, they're going to do that. And I'm going to get mad when they do that. But
Mhm.
when the goalie has a bad game, let that be the night that they go overboard. If not, then, and granted, he allowed 3 goals,
Mhm.
and then like a fucking weird one. It's not the fucking worst performance we've ever seen in our lives, but that is the night to let them have their fun. Say he's
Mhm.
fucking Satan. Say he's featured on the new Kanye song. Let them, like, they get to do it then, and I just gotta fucking live with it.
Speaking of tweets, was there like a mass email that went out to Maple Leafs fans that they had to call anybody rooting for the Panthers, like any Bruins fan rooting for the Panthers, a cuck? Because every response from Maple Leafs fans during these playoffs or this series has been like, oh, there's the cuck chair. There's the cuck chair. Newsflash. Obviously, Bruins fans are rooting for the Panthers. They get a first-round pick if the Panthers win this series. And number 2, like, we just don't like you guys.
Yeah. So here's what I would say. I like the saying 2 things can be true. Like you are based in logic in cheering for the Panthers, but you are also cucks.
Not really. Like my hate for your people will always outweigh almost
For
any
sure.
other fan base.
I feel like it's important to point out that cucks normally choose to be cucks.
That's true.
Like they're the one, they're putting themselves in the chair in the corner. So
Right.
just
And
because
you
you are a
chose.
cuck doesn't mean it's like I want to be like I'm fine with being a cuck.
Plus, we don't kink shame.
Also
It's
true.
not that kind of
Yeah.
podcast.
No,
but
nobody's kink shaming, but yeah.
But like,
you guys are cucks.
why is every Maple Leafs fan like? That's my bigger question: is
I haven't
was
seen
there
it.
some sort of mandate or newsletter or mass email that was like, here's what we're calling Bruins fans in this series?
No, I think again, like if it's just happening en masse this way, they're just like calling it like they see it, which is a bunch of cucks, right? Like that's all they're doing. I don't think they're not connected here. This is why we don't, there's no greater evidence that there was no mass email than the fact that our arena can't get one good chant ever, right? Like we've never had a good chant in that arena one time. That comes with coordination. Like I went to the UFC on Saturday. The fans in Montreal had like, I think 82 different chants in that arena. They were incredible. It's just like chant after chant after chant from their community. Leaf fans have 0 chants. We got no chant other than the goalie's name or this player sucks. So no coordination. All they're doing is seeing a cuck and saying, look, there's a cuck. And I would think that they might be right.
I really thought that cuck would be done like 2 years ago.
Well,
It's had
Pete's brought it
such a-
back apparently, or at least
So the real question is, did Bruins fans bring back being a cuck?
No, I mean, like David Lindhagen cuckolding Calvin was the biggest one in Crazy Stupid Love, and that should have been the height of cuck, and then it's
Calvin.
over. And then
Cal.
Cal,
Yeah.
short for Calvin. I
guess.
don't know him, so I just go full. Also, I follow him on Instagram. I don't follow Stewart.
Okay,
I
yeah.
follow, and he goes by Calvin on there.
That's right.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I would have thought that. I remember like even like 5 years ago, every other word from people was cuck, and it was just so clear they just learned the word and they were so excited about it.
Yeah.
Some of us know what that.
But I mean, like,
You know
that's,
what, though?
that's such recency bias from Leafs fans to be like, you should be rooting like hell against the Florida Panthers because
No.
they've knocked you out the past 2 years. It's like
No,
the past 2 years does not make up for how annoying you guys have been for decades.
No. I think there's a few things. One is that cuck is just incredibly fun to say, right? Like it rolls off the tongue in a very special way as an insult. So that's why I don't think, like, DJ, you're right. It definitely peaked 2 years ago, but it's still always going to be around because it's just fun to say. It's like, yeah, cuck. And also the tweeting somebody the picture of the cuck chair in a hotel, and now that everybody knows exactly what that means, is also funny. It's just funny. It's just funny that you go into a hotel now and you see that chair and you think, like, that's the cuck chair. Like, that's just the way it's going to be for probably our generation for a very long time. But yeah, I don't want anybody cheering for the Leafs. Like, there's no person.
Don't worry.
That I
Yeah, I know. You don't have to worry about that. At
course, but that's again, that's the way that I think we would prefer it. Like, my family members, like people, I was when again in Montreal, I was talking to these younger French guys that were going up to the suite with me, and they're like, "Oh, the Leafs, like hopefully they do well." And I was like, "Are you guys kidding right now? You want them to do well? They're like the Canadian team." And I went, "This is crazy that you guys are talking to me this way. I'd rather shoot myself in the leg than watch the Habs win a cup." Like, there's just no question about it. And so I think if you polled most Leaf fans, their worst nightmare would be other people rooting for them. And like, they want this. Like, this is what they want. This is what's going to make it sweeter, is that if you were able to win, you get to say fuck you to the whole hockey world, right? Like, that's why you guys hate us so much, because you know that would come.
You didn't happen to see a Scottish woman at this event, did you?
No, I did not. I have not seen the Scottish woman, but I know she's out there.
I mean, she's goated.
Yeah,
she's the
pretty
best.
Good. Yeah.
So, like, people are going to root for the Leafs because of her, not because of the fucking Leafs. Anyway, we're not done with you. We're going to have you on, I'm sure. Let's hope another round or two.
I will not come on after a Game 3 win. I will not come on after a Game 3 win, because I know I was actually waiting for this invite. I thought it was going to come after the first 2 games, that Pete was going to try to lure me back into a trap of being like, oh, 2 wins, blah, 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 blah. I'm thrilled that it was at this point. I'm thrilled I was able to give a 5. But do not call me after a Game 3. But you can call me if the Leafs win the series, or if they lose. I'll eat the shit if they lose.
What a guy. He's JD Bunkis. Catch him everywhere, mainly his show, but he's the greatest. Thanks, buddy.
See you, boys.
All right. Sean, we got anything from any morning skates?
Yes. First off, Berube was asked about the Domi hit, and his response was the Kulikov hit on Marner was worse.
Yep.
So didn't
hit
address
chat.
it at all.
Love hit chat from my guy. Look at my hit chat.
Weird things happening in Edmonton. No morning, or there was morning skate, but no line rushes. So I don't really know what the thing. Obviously, Stu's going to start. Tony Brar said that Knobloch said that there will be a couple of changes. 1, maybe 2 changes. There's a couple of game time decisions.
Jeff Skinner.
And then
Jeff Skinner.
Ryan Rashog again pointed out that there were no line rushes, but first run through, he said, was Hyman McDavid Perry, RNH Draisaitl Janmark, Kane Henrik Brown, and then, quote, mishmash in the 4th line. So don't really know what to expect, but it's safe to assume it's going to look a little different than it has so far these playoffs.
So the changes, per Ryan Rashog, it would appear Troy Stetcher is in for Ty Emberson. I can live with that. I thought that Emberson.
That ought to fix it.
What scares me, though, Ryan Rashog, you got it, Sean?
The first one?
Yeah.
Kapanen also off well before Arvidsson. Could see a change there.
So Arvidsson potentially out. Kasperi Kapanen in.
We're not letting Jeff Skinner play hockey.
The man fucking hates Jeff Skinner. And in order to be loved, someone's got to hate you. I just made that up. I don't know if that makes sense at all. But I wish somebody else hated Jeff Skinner. I wish it wasn't
just one
the guy who decides whether
in charge.
Yes.
Does Connor McDavid follow
like
Jeff
if like
Skinner on
Trump
Instagram?
hated Jeff Skinner, I'd be like, sweet.
Actually, McDavid definitely doesn't follow Jeff Skinner on Instagram, because if we searched for Skinner, you'd
That's
find
right.
no results.
Does not follow either Skinner. So Jesus there. I did have a thought though, and I know that Brar is taking pictures of Stu saying it's his net. What if, so yesterday Knobloch said that Pickard was out for today, right? What if he was just giving Bruce Cassidy a taste of his own medicine? We don't do weekend shows, but Bruce Cassidy straight up lied about Braden McNabb's availability when he was trying to get Arvidsson suspended.
True.
Which, by the way, he ended up getting that anyway. The Oilers were like, oh, no, we'll just take the guy out. We don't want to play him. But saying he's day-to-day, having him not do morning skate, saying he's day-to-day, and then just fucking play him that night. Shout out my guy, straight up lying. So maybe Pickard plays tonight. Maybe Knobloch's just doing the same thing.
Maybe.
I would rather Calvin Pickard play than Stu Skinner tonight, but got to fucking ride with my guy. Welcome to. You said after that game you were like that was a Buffalo Bills experience.
Yes,
right.
I was trying to temper behind the curtain. I texted Pete separately because I didn't want to be an asshole. But
Yeah,
I was,
did.
I was just like,
Very
holy
respectful.
fuck.
Yeah.
Very respectful, Sean.
Because I have been there because it did feel very Buffalo Bills-esque
I
the way
was
that game
so
ended.
excited to open that text message. After that goal happens and with 0.4 seconds left, I get a solo message from Sean DePaz. And I was like, oh boy. And it was very respectful. It was like out of respect for DJ's feelings. I'm texting you on the side. Holy fucking
Yeah, I
shit.
literally just said, out of respect for DJ, send text. Holy fuck, send text. And Pete responded, holy shit. I've been there. I know exactly. You don't want to hear anybody being like, oh, that was pretty bad. I
And-
feel
Sorry,
bad
bro.
for you. Yeah,
Well,
that's the worst possible fucking
Famously,
thing.
I think my first text in the group chat was like, I'm so sorry, DJ. Because there's nothing else you can say.
Yeah, there's
like,
like
you
literally,
guys
I
not
was
even
just
be like, I'm not going to fucking rub it in,
'Cause-
but like saying genuinely, I am so sorry that you had to see that
And
is what I was
And
feeling.
there's
Like-
also we're all like hockey funny men.
Yes.
There's not a joke to make. There's not a fucking
Well,
good joke to
there's
make.
not only that, but it was also objectively, sorry, fucking hilarious. Like
Yeah.
I watched that and I was like I tweeted, I was like, holy fuck, Oilers. No, like that was just so sad. All you can do is laugh, but I'm not expecting you to laugh. Like as a somewhat neutral observer, I just found it hilarious, but I'm not going to laugh in your face about it.
But-
Alea Smith says that's what day-to-day is when talking about McNabb.
No, it's
not, because if you say that he's out
Day,
and then he plays on the same day that you say he's out,
right.
that the day hasn't changed.
Yes. No.
It's
Day-
hour to hour.
I've
Yeah.
never seen, and not to pull rank, but in my years of covering, like being a fucking beat person and having to deal with all that shit, I've never seen a player termed day to day on a day in which they played. Day to day means close, not active and playing. But whatever. Like I wasn't offended by that. I didn't really care.
Gamesmanship.
But I was like, oh, that rule. I think I texted you guys or tweeted it, just like, yo, my guy just fucking lied. That rules. Anyway, the reason I was asking you to confirm the Buffalo Billsness of it is, can you relate to what I am with Stu, where like your quarterback is great now,
Mm-hmm.
but you've had EJ Manuel before, you've had JP Losma before, and you're just like, like, do I have a choice but to fucking ride with this guy? I'm supporting him.
No.
No,
I
really?
don't
You're
really-
just like, get this guy off my team?
I'm like, no, yeah. If I think that there was one guy being an asshole, and that's the difference between us being successful and not being successful, which is not necessarily the case with the Oilers. But
And that's the crux of my thing, maybe
Well-
with like Skinner haters, where I'm like, I think this season, I think he's bad. I don't think that he's the reason for all that is horrible in the world.
But yeah, I think with guys like EJ and Trent Edwards and Larry Fitzgerald, Ryan Fitzpatrick, it's a lot of just like, I'm not wasting my time defending this guy. I know he sucks. The rest of the team may also suck, but this guy definitely sucks, and I don't have energy.
Here's
for
the thing, though, is that like you've already put yourself so firmly in the Stu camp that like you have no choice but to ride it out and be supportive. Like you have a Stu Skinner jersey, you have a Stu Skinner T-shirt. I think that like if you had been riding the fence before, you could be like, all right, get this guy the fuck off my team.
yeah,
At this point, you kind of just have to see it through. What I will say is that if this continues the course and the Oilers finish this season with Stu Skinner in net as a problem, and he is a part of the reason why they are knocked out, that the Stu Skinner experience has to be over. You can't go back to him.
I think
I'll
it
break a
already
little
should be
news
over.
for you. And this is before the postseason started, but I have already moved on from Stu Skinner as starting goaltender of the Edmonton Oilers. He is my fucking guy, and he's about to go win me a Stanley Cup, and I love him. But as Mike Felger once said about Claude Julien, I'm firing him off the duck boat, which means if this guy leads them to a championship on the
It's the
duck
last
boat,
game he will play.
I am telling him, nice job.
Storybook
We
ending,
have to move on.
but
The
it's an
problem
ending
is-
Which is
regardless.
just like, if I can upgrade at any position, I'm doing it. I'm offer sheeting. What is it? I'm offer sheeting my mother or whatever Armstrong said.
Yeah.
Like, I love Stuart Skinner so much, but got to do what's right for the organization. And what's best for the organization is to have more stability at goaltending. And Stuart Skinner is what I would compare to a relief pitcher in baseball, which every year is a new year for them, and it could be great and it could be horrible. And when the stakes are as high as they are in Edmonton, you cannot be that volatile.
The problem is who is that? Like, yeah, you can fire him off the duck boat. There's no replacement though. The only respectable goalie free agent that would have been a free agent was Freddie Anderson, and he got signed. So unless you're like trading for,
you're not
Korpisalo
limited
or
to
something.
free agents though.
Well, but I'm saying like they also don't have. It's not like they have a massive farm system of good players to trade away. So like,
there's always a solution. There's always a solution. I think that the time has just come.
I'm
where
telling you,
gotta
folks.
move on.
And again, we're saying this at the beginning of a Stu Conn Smythe run, but Edmonton's close to Alaska, or it's closer to Alaska than Boston is. That's all I'll say.
Fair
are
enough.
you suggest? Well,
We know what he suggests.
I'm talking about Jeremy
Jeremy
Swayman
Swayman.
of the Boston Bruins.
do you think it's more likely that they trade Swayman than Korpisalo?
I mean,
when you
if
look
they
at
trade,
the contract,
I don't want Korpisalo over Stu. Like, if you're going to, kind of what I was saying with Gibson when there were so many questions about him, and they were like, should they trade for Gibson? I was like, no, if you're going to get a goalie who is definitely going to be better. I don't know that Gibson's definitely going to be better. Just fucking save the money, use it on something else.
I don't even know if you need a goalie that's better. I think you need a goalie that you know what you're getting on any given night.
I agree.
Yep.
And Stu,
I mean, you've seen. I think that's obvious now. With
we're
Pickard.
talking about Pickard. Like
Yeah.
they're going to be desperately missing Pickard. Pickard is not an amazing goaltender. It's just he's stable.
Did you think that you would be before these playoffs started? We'd be talking about how much the Edmonton Oilers are missing Calvin Pickard, and also they are winning a playoff series. Like they're clearly in a good position to advance to the conference.
You asked me a
final.
week ago if I thought we'd be doing like 50 minutes on Stu Skinner this
I was going to
week.
say, and we clearly could be doing 3 more hours on it. Let's not forget this. I think Vegas has been the better team in 2 of the 3 games this series. So, like, Edmonton is in a good position. I did not think the series was over through 2 games. I think that tonight is huge for Edmonton. If you can be up 3-1, and who knows what's going to... Do we have any sort of update on Mark Stone? Like,
No,
if
not from what
Edmonton
I've
went
seen.
up 3-0 and there was even a question about Mark Stone, done. See you later. They can go up 3-1. I'm not saying that it's over, but I think they kind of need this one.
I typed in Mark Stone on Twitter, and for some reason, the first tweet that comes up is Mark Kelly talking about Roger Stone.
Okay,
What was it?
No.
What was he
don't think-
saying about him?
I guess Roger Stone said that Mark Kelly should be charged with treason. Former serviceman and astronaut Mark Kelly should be charged with treason.
Okay,
I don't know.
We got to do it. We have some branding updates. We have a tweet from Greg Wyshynski at the Dallas Stars Pro Shop, and it turns out they got some weird shit going on there. Per Greg Wyshynski, I feel like some of the Dallas Stars gear was conjured from the souls of DJ Bean and Pete Blackburn. I like this. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. I think the best of these are 6 crazy hats. Adam
would
Sandler voice.
Just right off the bat, I would like to request that my name stay out of Greg's mouth. I don't want to have any tie to this.
This is this is definitely more of a. This looks like the What Chaos branding. There is no shot that Pete Blackburn would ever wear a single one of these.
Yes.
I would
Thank
be-
you.
I would
Thank
be blown
you,
away. if
Sean.
I-
It's
I
outside the
appreciate it.
lines.
Yeah.
And it is, and when I say outside the lines, it is well outside the lines. I think the one on the upper right is a fine classic
Yes.
that kind of hat, Saved by the Bell style.
Yes.
But the Dallas Stars logo in its traditional colors makes it look fucking terrible.
Stupid.
All these hats are bad.
I mean,
I don't
those
hate the one in the middle, the top middle.
I knew you were going to say that.
that
it's
paired
got
well.
mascot
That
eyes
paired
on it.
with the neon jersey, you look like an asshole, but at least you're matching.
Yes.
I mean, I could see people wearing like the bottom middle one, the rope hat, the leather Stars logo. I could see people wearing that in real life.
I
That's the only one
I could see people golfing in that. That has
Yes,
like
exactly.
big golf hat. The
I can see
bottom
children
right,
wear the mascot.
the bottom right
We haven't
hats.
talked
I
about these.
never understand those. Those are a type of hat. It's fucking hockey laces hats on the front of a hat. If you wear those, who's wearing that? That makes me
All of
irrationally
these
angry.
look like they're for children.
Chat notes that Pete doesn't like these hats because they're not MAGA hats.
That's true. I only wear one brand of hat.
Okay. Yeah. How have we not talked about, especially
The lace
in
hats?
Wars,
Ugh.
those lace hats? They are you know who I think makes those? That's
Zephyr.
Big
Zephyr.
Rope Hat makes those, so people will be like, I'm on the fence about rope hats, and they see the lace ones, and they're like, no,
At least
the
they're
rope
not
hats
lace
are
hats.
fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
these are okay, and they end up getting those. The other branding thing, I want to talk about this for a little while. The Panthers, we'll call it postseason campaign this year. We talked last year a lot about they had time to hunt, #serving hunt. That is as good as it gets.
Mm-hmm.
Just a hashtag, time to hunt, #serving hunt, little Panthers logo. It's amazing. They don't do that anymore. You know what they do this year? Rain in red. And they've got this weird...
Just rain red.
Oh, sorry. Rain red. Sorry, I was doing the Rain in Blood Slayer song. My bad. Rain red. And they've got this weird, like, AI type thing that is a panther. They've got their towels have these, like, royal rat things. It's a lot of curls. It's a lot of the script is just very old-fashioned-y. I hate it so fucking much. I think it looks bad, and it just feels different from what the Panthers actually are, which is the Panthers should be, Sean, go back to the other one, just meat and potatoes. We barely know how to turn on a computer. That's what I want for my Florida Panthers.
Yeah, I mean, like I get
disagree with this.
the energy behind the new campaign, especially as Stanley Cup champions. They are literally the reigning champs. They're reigning in red. I mean, it's not the worst that I've seen after we just talked about the Dallas Stars. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. It doesn't have a lot of personality to it, but it is what it is. I definitely like Time to Hunt better. We had a lot more fun with that one. But it's fine.
Their stuff needs to look like it was made, like, you know, that like Panther
Yes,
thing.
yeah.
And they have a lot of stuff that's just like crudely drawn and bad. Do that. That looks like you tried hard to make something look good. And because you are best served at making bad things, the looking good thing was horrible.
I hate to call you guys out for like not really knowing Puck, but I feel like you don't know Puck. This is like like imagery, like the hyper realistic Panther thing is something that Panthers have been doing for years. Like the last couple of years in the playoffs, they've always done these like hyper realistic Panther graphics.
They do the
for
graphics,
enemies.
like the game day graphics. Yeah, yeah. Like
and that, so like the Panther thing is very much on brand with them, I would say. I also just kind of like the rain red thing. Like I get the whole thing they're going for. It doesn't really fit Florida. It's definitely like, especially if they end up in the cup against the Golden Knights, they're going to get cucked a little bit. But I like the way it looks.
Chad's saying that it feels like a ripoff of Vegas, which I think is partially true.
Yeah, like I said, if they end up paying Vegas in the cup, you gotta abandon this a little bit because it is.
You can't have shared font in the cup final.
Yeah,
Yeah, and a reason I like the Panthers is for how disruptive they are. They are disruptors, and that doesn't give me that. Give me Time to Hunt. Give me Serving Hunt all day. Can you throw up the slate if you would, Sean? The Carolina Hurricanes actually scored goals in Game 3. 4 of them. They are now up in that series 2-1. We can see them try to take a commanding 3-1 series lead at 7 p.m. Eastern over the Capitals. That is on TNT. And then the Golden Knights at Oilers, dear God, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Edmonton can go up 3-1. They're at home. Both these teams in a very good position. I don't want to ask what we think happens in these. Instead, I'll ask, is this a must-win for the Washington Capitals?
Yes, I think it is. I think it is deeply a must-win, and especially after what I found was a very, very disappointing Game 3. I know a lot of Capitals fans push back on me saying that, like, I was kind of disgusted by their effort in Game 3. they came out, had a really good first period, didn't score a goal, and then packed it in. Like
Yeah.
that to me, especially after game 2, was so not what you wanted to see, because game 1 they got fucking dunked on by the Hurricanes, and then in game 2 they pushed back, and then after one good period they kind of packed it in, and the series went back to the way that it looked in game 1. So after 3 games, you definitely say like the Hurricanes are in the driver's seat, and they haven't scored a ton of goals, but like they're dominating, deeply dominating like a good portion of this series. Capitals need to have another pushback effort, and I don't want to have to say that like every other day for the Capitals.
Yeah, I agree with every single word of that. I think that if Capitals are going to make a run, which they still can, like I still like every team that's in the playoffs, and that's so lame to say in the second round. I have big questions about the Jets.
Like
that we will ask tomorrow.
Like in what way? Like you enjoy watching them, or you like them as like a potential cup?
No, like I feel good about them.
I don't feel good about either one of those teams in that series, Capitals or Hurricanes. Like
I like the Hurricanes, man.
I mean, like the Hurricanes are good at playing their system. Their system doesn't make me feel good when I watch it, and I think that they're going to run into a team that is going to expose the system. They always fucking do.
All right.
I'm just waiting for them to run into somebody that's like, okay, as soon as we get the puck, if you're not going to score a bunch, we'll just take advantage of our opportunities and put you away.
Question that I will ask you off of something that you said a couple of days ago, and then I reused the take yesterday and realized, that's just what Pete said. After game 2 of the Oilers Golden Knights series, can't remember if you said it on this show, but you were like, Oilers are going to win the cup. When I saw that Stu is starting today, I said, if they win this game, the Oilers are going to win the cup. I don't care if you feel good about whether that actually happens, because I don't know if I feel good about whether that actually happens. But if Edmonton wins this game tonight, Stuart Skinner plays the entire game, they win. How do you feel about the Oilers?
Like chances of winning
just
the cup?
Like they get out of this game, and they could win 2-0, they could win 9-8. But if they get a 3-1 series lead with Stu, God forbid,
if they win tonight, I feel good about their chances getting out of the series. I'm not gonna make it a bigger picture thing, not knowing what the goalie situation is. If Stuart Skinner is their goaltender for the rest of the playoffs, I think they are in trouble.
It depends on what that means. Like if he's their goalie until they're out of the playoffs, then yes, I think that's a fair point.
Yeah,
but if you're saying like for the rest of the playoffs, I mean, like, so they're staying in the playoffs and Stu's there, that would suggest that maybe he ends up doing what he did last year, and then I'll feel great about it, because like Petey said, ideally Stu at his best, if you're getting that, which
haven't this season. I
don't know. I'll fucking hope that maybe it takes him a game or two to get going. I'm a down with the ship guy. I don't know, though. I don't feel good after that last game. But if they win tonight and he's good, then I'm feeling a lot less horrified than if they lose tonight. Because if it's 2-2 and the road team has won every game in this series, that's a level of chaos that even as an Oilers fan makes me feel uneasy.
I'm prepared for full-blown Stu Skinner asshole so we can get Olivier Rodrigue minutes. Need it.
Where would Olivier Rodrigue register on who the fuck is that guy in a playoff game?
Pretty highly up there. But I know who he is because of the Seattle thing.
You know Puck?
Sure. Did I know him? Would I know who he was if we weren't in Edmonton? The one game that he made an appearance? Probably not. But I do.
All right. Well, we shall see. The slate is slate's an A because it's the postseason. It's always
we only have one game tomorrow, though. Not to get too far out of ourselves, but it's a one-game slate tomorrow.
Just Dallas and Winnipeg, correct?
Believe so.
One game.
Yes, just Dallas and Winnipeg at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Whoa, interesting.
I was very thrown off by the fact that they did the Pacific game, or like the Western Conference game early yesterday.
Yeah, I liked that though.
I didn't mind it. Yeah, I certainly didn't mind it, but I was a little thrown off.
Getting to do a little late third period melatonin and actually fall asleep at a reasonable hour. New one for me. Felt amazing about it. Chat not happy about about Arvidsson out for Kapanen, but this is why we play the games.
Do you think if they lose tonight, we get elimination game Jeff Skinner?
Wouldn't be
or not elimination game.
You're
Do
right.
you think we get like an elimination game Jeff Skinner? Like if it gets to the point where they're changing all these things and it's not working, and it's like that's the last card you can play, Jeff Skinner.
I mean, my biggest issue with that game before how it ended was Oilers just doing nothing offensively. They had 4 shots in the first period until there was like 2 minutes left, and they got a couple to get it to like 6 or 7, but they had nothing going offensively in that game for long stretches. Before McDavid tied it, they were on like 16 shots on goal. So if there's any sort of like got to get something going, wouldn't now be the time to put Jeff Skinner in?
I think
buddy.
It's unfortunate that they are playing the Vegas Golden Knights, and Vegas Golden Knight fans decided to be assholes to me on Twitter, because otherwise I would be very upset with the Edmonton Oilers. But I had a ride for him.
You'd be like, "Yo, your coach made me do this."
Yes.
Like kind of like I don't hate your country, I hate your president.
Would have
What
been
are
the
you doing about it?
second year in a row that Chris Knobloch's decisions have ruined the Edmonton Oilers for me. Still time for that.
We shall see. If it's 2-2 tomorrow, I don't know what I'm looking like, folks. I think that we just do an all worlds show. By the way, people starting to do Marc-Andre Fleury looks good at Worlds, to which I say, people fucking watch that?
I mean, I feel like this one's a little different because the Canadian roster is weird as shit. Like they got Sid and McKinnon, and
I just feel like
you're
getting your fill.
The fucking cup is on.
Yeah, you're getting your fill of good hockey. Why are you watching Worlds?
I agree. And,
Unless you're just like I like watching hockey during the day when nothing else is
and
going on.
like Utah fans, like you got Keller and Cooley on a top line.
What are you really
together.
learning?
People are asking, they're like,
well, you're learning that they suck because they just lost to fucking Switzerland.
People are asking, is Fleury really done? Will he want to come back after this? We fucking told you, man. It's all been a prank.
Also,
He's not retiring.
I don't think it was like he was good enough to be a backup still. Like I don't think it was like it was because he didn't want to play anymore. It wasn't like he couldn't play anymore.
All right, let's go on and get out of here. But before we do that, please like the video. Hit the thumbs up button right below the video player. And if you're not yet subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do that. It would very much help us and support us. And we're nearing 15,000 subscribers on the YouTube, which is, I believe, the benchmark that we wanted to set for ourselves at the conclusion of the playoffs. So if we reach there before, was I wrong?
Mine was 15,000 by the start of the playoffs.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Well, that was unrealistic by DJ. So I thought it was 15,000 by the end of the playoffs, but we're nearing there regardless. So thank you very much. If you are subscribed, if you are not yet, we would love to have you. We're here every day, Monday through Friday. And we're also on audio, whether it's Spotify or Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. Wherever you can get us, you can find us there, and we love your support. All right.
Maybe see you tonight for overtime. Let's hope not. Although, depending on how the game is going, just fucking get to overtime. Bye.
We all silly like the mayor.